morning, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to every individual person in this room. So lovely to see such a packed room this morning. For those of you I've never met, my name is Seymour, and as I'm now your new UKIP transport spokesman. For many of us, roads, railways, airplanes and ferries are transport issues which affect every single one of us. From the goods delivered to our shops to the way we get to work and the choices we make when we go on holiday, we're a nation which is always on the move. And that's why I am delighted to have been asked to represent UKIP in such an important area of our policy. Since taking my seat in the European Parliament in May, I think it's probably fair to say I've made more use of the UK transport network than most. Flying in and out of Brussels and Strasbourg, commuting up and down the motorways, campaigning in by-elections, and getting out and about to meet the people who came out in such force to return 24 UKIP MEPs. So you don't have to tell me about the problems of our underinvested rail network, issues surrounding our road tolls, or the mountain of red tape which is suffocating our haulage industry. But what exactly is UKIP's transport vision? When elected to govern in Westminster, these are the few transport commitments we will support. Let's start with the biggest outrage of them all. The white elephant known as HS2. Yes, the high-speed 2 rail network that links Birmingham to London. While our conventional railways remain woefully underfunded and ticket prices spiralling way out of control, it appears they are oblivious to the escalating cost of this vanity project. £55 billion. Well, at the moment, yes, 55 billion will be spent on this track, which will cut through huge swathes of countryside, destroying ancient woodlands, even crossing through cemeteries and picturesque hamlets. Never mind the impact on our established wildlife. These are precious parts of our history. Our heritage, which can never be replaced. HS2 is part of the European integrated network, which will serve a minority to the detriment of a majority and saddles British taxpayers with a mortgage it will be paying off for generations. Most of us in this room will never use HS2, but we will still be obligated to pay for it. And this is not cheap. In fact, it works out to about £1,400 to every hard-working family in this country. Bad enough that this sort of money is being spent, but to rub salt into the wound. Dozens of bureaucrats who are masterminding HS2 will be paid more than the Prime Minister. You may laugh, but if it wasn't such a disgraceful miscarriage of justice. Meanwhile, our existing rail network remains something of a laughing stock in other parts of the developed world. I recently heard a passenger saying to a station master, "What's the point of having a timetable if your stupid trains never stick to it?" And the station master replies, "Well, sir, if it wasn't for the timetable, how would you know when they are running late?" You may laugh, but that's how people view our trains. So it doesn't have to be this way. So here is my first pledge. Ladies and gentlemen, UKIP will scrap all plans for high-speed 2 rail network. Whilst the Conservatives and Labour parties continue to support HS2, I simply do not find the arguments compelling or proven, for there is no business case. UKIP is a party for the people. We listen to what they have to say, and we will care about the issues which will impact on their lives. No amount of compensation can ever replace the loss of people's homes and communities against their will. HS2 will add around £2 billion to every year into the UK's interest payments. That is a debt that will be passed on to our children and our children's children. We will listen to the rail users and people and businesses who know the current problems best of all, and be guided by them when it comes to suggesting how money could best be spent. I believe it is their voices which should be heard, and I will listen to that voice alone. From railways, let's move on to roads. Has anyone had to pay for a toll for the privilege of driving on Britain's roads? We already pay our car taxes, and yet extra road tolls seem to be creeping across the country at an alarming rate. Where does this money go to? It certainly doesn't seem to be ploughed back into our road network, judging by the number of routes which are still covered in potholes and generally in a poor state of repair. Collectively, British drivers now pay around £50 billion every year in road-related taxes, and that shouldn't be the case. Given the opportunity, a UKIP government will ensure our roads are maintained to a much higher standard. UKIP will block the introduction of new toll roads. And more than that conference, we will also work towards removing the existing tolls from all roads. Charging to use our busiest motorways or trunk roads is adding insult to injury to the already overburdened British driver. Conference, UKIP will also scrap any plans to bring in pay-as-you-go road pricing. The taxes we already pay as road users should be enough to afford the best road network in the world. Putting road tolls on top of fuel tax, excise duty and VAT, which we already pay, is just simply wrong. Most families cannot function without a car. It's not a luxury, it is a necessity. UKIP understands this, and we will act wherever possible to keep motoring costs under control. The bell could soon be tolling on road tolls. Ladies and gentlemen, enough is enough. From car owners, let's move on to HGV drivers. Thanks to our crazy, meddling friends in the European Parliament, all Britain's professional lorry drivers now have to pass a new training standard. The Certificate of Professional Competence, the CPC, which it's better known for. It is a menace. It's expensive. It's overcomplicated, and it's causing many truck and bus drivers either to lose their jobs or to take early retirement. The result, you've guessed it, a shortage of registered drivers in an industry that is battling hard to get back onto its feet. It's being kicked in the teeth by the EU, which always thinks it knows best for Britain. Hard-working people should not be losing their livelihoods. We see no need for drivers to undertake this unnecessary and expensive course. So you will not be surprised that UKIP will scrap the CPC. Our driving course, which has been in place for many years, is a proven system which has served us well. If it ain't broke, don't try and fix it. That's what we say. Sadly, why won't the European Union ever learn? This is another reason why we do not want to be part of the European Union. There has been an increase in foreign registered vehicles in our UK roads, which seem to skip safety checks and escape fines. I believe we should have a record of every vehicle used in our roads, where they should all contribute to the upkeep and maintenance of our road network. That is why, and that is where we're actually going to have a new innovation. We're calling it the Brit Disc. It comes in, UKIP will want to introduce it to every port of entry, which will apply to every single foreign registered vehicle entering the UK. Proof of payment would have to be displayed on a Brit Disc, a time-sensitive document that will be displayed on the inside of the windscreen. Several other countries already have this system with great success. It is an easy way to enforcement agencies to see if the foreign vehicle is being used legally on our roads. The Brit Disc is simple, low-cost, effective way of ensuring all vehicles entering the UK are making a contribution to the upkeep of our roads, which are so vital to our economy. Let's face it, conference, countries on the other side of the channel are quick enough to take our money and off our hauliers and our cars. Now, how many of you are struggling to pay your electricity bills? While families have seen their disposable income falling, the price of electricity has been going up and up. So why is it that some of the wealthiest people in this land, people who really don't have the money worries, are given free electricity to charge their electric cars? Yes, that's right. In the middle of London, they get free car parking where they can charge their cars all at the price paid by the taxpayers. Which bright spark thought of that idea? The government is not only spending £400 million building thousands of new charging points, they'll also give a £5,000 paying taxpayer-funded subsidy to anyone buying a new electric car, irrespective of how much these people earn. Conference, it's time to pull the plug. Turn off the switch, short-circuit this madness. UKIP will scrap electric car subsidies. The benefit of electricity-driven vehicles should stand for themselves. If people want them, they should pay for them, just like everyone else. Everyone can afford a new car. Of course, millions of us rely on public transport. For pensioners and disabled people, access to free concessionary bus travel is a vital lifeline, preventing them from being isolated. And this brings me to my final point. UKIP pledges that it will keep concessionary bus passes for pensioners and disabled people. We will protect those vulnerable who rely on public transport as the only means of transport. Conference, this is just a snapshot of the UKIP's transport vision. We want to create an accessible and efficient transport network that puts Britain in the fast lane, a network which is free from outside interference, which will not price people out of the public transport market, a network which does not place an unfair burden on our road users, who have borne the brunt of the money-grabbing taxman in recent years. We want a transport system where foreign vehicle owners pay their fair share towards our upkeep of our roads. This will allow our haulage industry to thrive. And Conference, we want a transport network which does not steamroller through people's homes and communities in the name of vanity, but listens instead to what rail users have to say. This government has its head in the clouds. HS2 is on the wrong track, but UKIP is on the road to Parliament. Thank you.